Good morning, friends. Welcome you all to my channel, Judgment Day. In this channel, we will discuss about the important cases which are decided by Honorable Supreme Court and also various high courts of the country. So today we will discuss about an important case which was decided by Honorable High Court of Kerala on Friday, 14th of January. This case is an important case because of the sensitivity of this case. The topic is it's related to sexual assault charges made against a priest of a religious place. The charges were made by none other than a nun, wherein she was also working along with the priest. Both accused and the person who made the charges. So both were working together. And this case, in fact, this case happened in Kerala, and the title of the case is Bishop Franco Mulakal versus State of Kerala. And the Honorable High Court, while deciding the case, this particular case, it has given 10 reasons why the court acquitted him of rape charges. We will discuss about all the 10 reasons where Honorable High Court has given clear views on each of the 10 points. And you can see he is the person, bishop is the bishop Franco Mulakal. And then presently he is working as a bishop of Jalandhar diocese in Punjab. This instance happened in Kerala in 2014 to 16, as per the charges made by the victim. A she is a nun, and the victim. So, Honorable Judge, Sessions Judge G. Kopakumar Kottayam delivered the highly awaited verdict on Friday. In fact, this interesting case, which runs into 289 pages, the verdict runs into 289 pages, said that there was no evidence against the bishop except the testimony of the victim. So even the testimony of the victim, the court said, was inconsistent and were riddled with variations posing questions on her credibility. So it shows that how important are the allegations and also the supporting documents. Either it may be document, electronic document, the data, or even the statements, confession statement, everything provided by the victim and also the prosecution witnesses should be consistent. Otherwise, the court will see them as they're not consistent enough to declare the declare the uh, accused as the culprit, accused as the accused as he has committed any charges. So that's the thing. And the entire case was built around some obscene messages sent by the accused to the over the phone of the victim. But the mobile phones of the victim and that prosecution witnesses to whom the victim forwarded the messages from the accused were not produced to the court. So this is the thing. So while the message were sent from the accused to the victim, once again the victim has forwarded them to their known contacts, and the same were not produced before the court. So even the final point the court has noted was the allegations were an outcome of factional feud within the church, due to which Franco had rivals, as well as infighting among the sisters within the congregation, and the desire of power and position of the complaint. That's the complainant or prosecutrix over the congregation. Here, prosecutrix is nothing but the victim. So she is the complainant, and the position of the complainant is so both as both were working in the same organization. So let's discuss about the 10 points on the ground, 10 grounds on which court came into the conclusion that uh, the the accused is not the charges made against the accused are not sustaining. In fact, they are not supported by the evidences given by the victim. Not enough supporting evidences. So first thing is delaying in filing the complaint. The instance happened. As the victim said, the instance happened since 2014 till 2016, and the revelations were made in this regard. Revelations were only came out at the end of 2016. And also, we'll see in the coming paragraphs wherein victim has wrote a letter to the senior person of that convent where she was staying in 2018. Then only she made the revelations that since 2014 till 2016 she was victimized. She was victimized by the accused, and also those revelations were made only in 2018. So there was a gap of almost 4 years, 4 years since the start of this victimization. So that's the thing, and even according to the section 164 of CRPC, wherein the victim and also the prosecution witnesses make all the confession statements as well as the other statements and producing the documents. So says that all those things revelations happened after December 2016. Even it further said that various subsequent events after 2016 and also the communication did not speak about sexual harassment but was instead about the other grievances against Franco. Franco is the accused here. So they're not whatever the subsequent events and also communications, they're not telling about sexual harassment but other things. So the second thing is sexual harassment allegations emerged after disciplinary proceedings were initiated against the prosecutrix. Here, prosecutrix is nothing but victim, the nun. So there were some charges made against her by the accused, as both were working in the same organization, and the accused was the senior to the victim here. There may be some charges, and the charges are not mentioned here. The charges, there may be some charges related to her working style, or maybe shortage of art while discharging the duties, some other aspects. So when disciplinary proceedings were initiated against the victim, then she started complaining about the attitude of these allegations, and also the allegations against her superior in the sense her senior, who is nothing but a accused. So the third thing was infighting within the congregation. Within the congregation is nothing but the religious place where all these people will reside, and also they were involved in religious activities. So within the infighting, there were different factions within the congregations, and also those were they were fighting for some superiority or the promotions or maybe some financial uh, classes, something of these charges. So, infighting within the congregation, reasons for measures by accused against prosecutrix. So, looks like the victim is used as a arrow to against uh, the accused. This is due to the people who are fighting for various benefits within the congregations. So that's the one. The next thing, even the court observed that infight and rivalry and group fights for the nuns, and the desire for power, position, and control over the congregation is evident from the demand placed by prosecutor. This is the thing. So, this is the third thing, and also the fourth one is factional feud. Factional feud within congregations. Accused had many rivals. So, faction, there were different factions within the congregations, and accused is nothing but Franco. Franco had many rivals due to different factions. So even the court observed that prosecutrix was swayed under the influence of others. That's what I mentioned earlier. Yeah, she was used as an arrow towards against using against used against the accused. So there were different vested interests who were looking to take control of the congregation. The fifth point is inconsistent versions by prosecutrix regarding the rape charges. So her statements were keep changing. There were no consistent uh, statement. That there is no consistent. She was not consistent on her revelations made. Keep changing. She was keep changing her statements, even the statements, and also she failed to produce the supporting documents. What court observed was consistency. There was consistency was missing. So the inconsistent versions at different point of time to different persons poses questions on her credibility. This was so she was unable to stand her stand her stand her allegations made against the accused. Important evidence. The next point is sixth one. Important evidence. Mobile phone and laptop are not produced. As we seen earlier, this entire case was based on the messages sent by accused to the victim over her phone, and the same message was were sent to the friends of the victims. So all these supporting documents, either the mobile or the laptop or the messages which were sent to other prosecutrix witnesses, they were not produced at the right time. Even they failed to do so. So the court observed that digital evidence which could have corroborated the testimony of prosecutrix was not produced. So this is what when any victim failed to produce the supporting documents or evidence. So in order to make her or his statement stronger, fail to do so, or they fail to produce any of these documents, this will lead to weakening of any case. This is an important aspect. So the next point is no complaint by two witnesses. Witnesses in the form of nuns. They were the friends of the victim of sexual harassment. So the two witnesses, the prosecution witness PW3 and also prosecution witness 4, never raised any complaints of sexual harassment against the accused. Instead, they raised a different complaint about the accused is not allowing them to write the examinations, or even the accused intervened in between the promotion process of the other prosecutrix witness, something like that. Apart from sexual harassment, they raised other grievances against the accused. The next point is the ruptured hymen. This is a case wherein the victim has to undergo medical examinations. This has to be confirmed by the medical expert, and they said according to whatever the tests they conducted, and they were also failed to establish the uh, uh, charges made by victim based on her examination, based on the examination on her internal organs. So the next point is close interaction between accused and prosecutor. As I said, both were working in the same organization at the same place. They used to travel to other locations whenever there is any need or as part of their duty, and they used to travel. Both used to travel uh, travel along, and they used to even the accused used to drive the victim in his car, and from they used to attend different uh, functions as well as this any work or any task assigned by the respective the place of worship. So this is what the court observed, and as I said, even many days this happened in many days, wherein both used to travel in the same car and attended many functions on almost all days. This is what court observed. So she was the chief advisor of the bishop. We need to note this because the person the accused is a bishop, and she was the chief advisor of the bishop in all appointments, and sometimes those appointments were made overruling the decision of the general council. This is what Honorable Judge Sir noted. The final point is the bad character of accused not proved. Accused is nothing but a that bishop. So his bad character is known previous known history where the charges were made of he is having a bad character. So that point was not proved by enough sufficient either the documents or statements or established proofs, any of the proofs. Even many prosecution witnesses failed to establish. So this is what we have seen. All these 10 points made the charges against the accused were not enough to declare him as the accused has committed any misdeeds as as uh, as argued by the victim. So coming back to the general view of this case, and our concerns, and also as a law student or a legal fraternity. Normally, religious places are considered as places where people means either the general public or the disciples of that particular religion used to worship, and also they used to visit those places for the peace, tranquility, and also to get rid of their difficulties, or where they pray to their god of their particular belief and all. So normally these the people who are in charge of those religious places are nothing but uh, what we can say, they are the gurus, and also they are nothing but spiritual leaders. They are spiritual leaders wherein they used to help the disciples to come out of their grievances, and also they provide some relief to those people who are suffering. In this case, as our Indian uh, uh, Puranas and also Vedas say, one person has to come out of six main are the deadliest enemy of a person, which are considered as arishad vargas. The lust, angst. Angst means anger, greed, ego, hatred, and crush. So this is called as the arishad vargas. So kama, krodha, lobha, mada, matsarya, and also moha. So these things, when they fail to come out of these six arishad vargas, they cannot be good spiritual leaders. They cannot be good spiritual leaders. Interestingly and ironically, in this case, we have seen all those six Arishad Vargas were rampant. Even the accused as well as the victim, both both were both were failed to come out of all these six Richard Vargas, and even we have seen many groupism and also many factions were there. They were they were trying to take control of the congregation. Congregation nothing but the religious place. Either they were involved in controlling financial statements and also financial benefits. They used to control the power. They used to control. They used to make use of the weaknesses of their subordinates, especially female subordinates, and even female subordinates were failed to raise their voice against their male superiors. So everything was there. All the six were rampant in this case. So, so in this scenario, even we need to appreciate and also we need to thank the Honorable High Court of Kerala, as it took note of all these things and various aspects also, and it delivered a very good message, wherein saving an innocent person. He may not be innocent, but as per the allegations made, these allegations were not true and were failed to victimize a person who is accused of. So this is all about this case, friends. I request you all to please enter your opinions, your views in the comment sections below. Also, share this video, subscribe this video, and also like this video. Please share this video on other social media channels you are comfortable with. Thank you all.